Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Faithfully Asia, and I'm back with the 4th installment to my lace series. If you want to see how to customize your frontal like a pro, keep watching. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to bleach those ratchet knots that comes on the frontal. You'll need a bowl, a plastic knife, some 30 developer, bleach, and foil. The oil is optional. So what I like to do is I like to apply oil to the roots of the hair. This serves as a shield and protects the roots of the hair from getting bleached should any of the bleach seep through. You can also use some type of freeze spray or holding spray as an alternative. So I add 2.5 scoops of bleach to the bowl. I like to use the Kaleidocolor Violet bleach because although it's a little pricier than the BW2, it's specially designed to lift and tone the hair, and I found that it leaves the lace less brassy. So you want to add the 30 developer to the bleach and continue mixing it until it reaches a nice dough-like consistency. Then I add 10 drops of the red color corrector plus to the bleach and continue mixing it. As you can see, it turns the bleach slightly purple. This part is crucial. When applying the bleach to the lace, you want to use a super light hand. The reason why I use the plastic knife is that I found that because it's so light, it doesn't add any extra pressure to the lace, and it helps you actually apply the bleach to the lace without the bleach seeping through to the roots. Trust me, I've tried this method with every different instrument, and this plastic knife has been God sent. It almost always guarantees a flawless application. Just be sure to use a light hand. Lastly, you want to wipe any excess bleach that may have got on the hair with a wet paper towel. Then I lay the frontal down, face down on the aluminum foil, and I like to just do a little sanity check and make sure that none of the bleach has seeped through to the roots. Then I seal the edges with foil and wait for the bleach to process. After about 20 to 25 minutes, I check the lace to see if the knots have been bleached. You'll notice that it has because you will no longer see the little black speckles on the lace. Once I've confirmed that the knots have been bleached, I continue by thoroughly rinsing the bleach from the lace. I applied this generic Shimmerlite shampoo that I got from Sally's. Is equivalent to the Clairol Shimmerlite. And I rub it into the lace and I allow it to sit for about 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, I continue by thoroughly washing out that shampoo from the lace. As you can see, the roots have been perfectly bleached and it doesn't have that brassy or orangey tint that normally happens when bleaching a frontal. Next, I'm going to show you how to dye the hair without getting any dye on the frontal. I pin the frontal to a mannequin head and comb the hair back. Then I make small parts and I put some of the dye in the bowl, and I use one of those eyebrow brushes that has the comb on one side and the brush on the other, and I just use that to apply the dye, and it allows me to get close to the root of the hair without actually getting any of the dye on the lace. I found that it's real easy to use this brush as opposed to using the regular perm applicated comb because it allows you to have better precision. Once I'm finished bleaching the roots, I lay the frontal down and I apply the dye to the remainder of the hair. Then I wrap it in some plastic, being saran wrap or plastic bag, and I let that sit for about 20 minutes. Then you can proceed to wash and condition the hair as normal. Now it's time to really begin customizing that hairline. This is one of the most important steps because this makes the difference from your hair having a wig look and looking natural. Now sis, if you can spend a couple extra dollars on your tweezers, it'll make all the difference. The tweezers with the straight tip will allow you to have much better precision than those that are flat. This frontal came slightly pre-plucked. Most frontal nowadays come slightly pre-plucked. However, you'd want to pluck it some more if you want to have a more natural look. Since it's pre-plucked, I prefer not to start immediately from the beginning of the hairline. Therefore, I made a small part and then began plucking randomly slightly behind the hairline. There's no rhyme and reason on how to pluck the hair. You just don't want to pluck the same area repeatedly. So you want to work your way up and down the frontal and just continue plucking away to the hair. The goal is to thin out the hair to create a gradient effect to mimic a natural hairline. Also, I recommend beginning this process using dry hair. While it is easier to pluck and customize the hairline using wet hair, it is also easier to get bald spots and over pluck. So I found that dry hair is a bit more forgiving. Most hairlines are thinner at the edges and then gradually build up in density. So that's the same concept you're going to try to mimic when plucking your hairline. You don't want to just have it thin at the edges and then abruptly it's thick. You want to make it gradually fade in from thin to thick so that it has more of a natural look. So you want to just keep plucking until it eventually starts looking like your natural hairline. If for some reason you don't really have edges, then look at someone's hairline that you wish you had and mimic that. And you're just going to repeat this process on both sides. Don't forget to hit the temple as well. Also, if you end up over bleaching your lace and your frontal turns out brassy or orange in color, you can apply this toner. I'll have it linked in the description box down below. You apply this with a 20 cream developer to your lace just like you did the bleach. And this will help tone and remove that orange color from the lace. Also, because I am dark skinned, I did tint the lace. If you'd like to see the process for tinting the lace, I'll be sure to link that up top as well as in the description box down below. As a final step before applying the frontal, I like to wet the frontal and create the part in the area in which I want to wear it. Then I lightly pluck the part area because sometimes the frontal part may appear too thin, but be careful, do not overpluck the part and have it look like Moses parted the Red Sea. You want to create a natural looking part that's not too wide and not too thin. And here I'm just going through the frontal and plucking in additional areas where I see it's needed. For added security, I turn the frontal inside out and then I spray a nice even layer of the Got2b Glue freeze spray to the inside of the frontal. Then I go over it with a blow dryer to make sure that it's dry. This helps preserve the integrity of the frontal and delays it from balding. Lastly, I comb the hair down while it's wet and then I tie it down with a scarf. You can allow it to air dry, or if you're in a rush, you can blow dry it with a dryer. And there you have it, a nice natural looking hairline and flawless scalp. Be sure to check out the other videos in this series to see how I made my wig, how I install the wig, and lay the baby hairs. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.